Where do you think the moon landing was shot?
Joe Rogan's studio, obviously.
Thank you for that. Hello, and welcome to Grave Conversations, the only show where your favorite celebrities get to lie down. I'm your host, David Dastmalchian. Today's guest is someone that I hope isn't in this position again for a very, very long time. He's an actor who has captivated horror fans for years, from Casper to Final Destination to the Chucky series. Please welcome Mr. Devon Sawa. Hi.
Hello.
You comfy?
I'm very comfy, surprisingly.
It is surprising. It's a little weird.
Never thought I'd be so comfortable.
I was certainly nervous the first time I got into a casket, and there's something about, for me, it can feel good. And it's no judgment to people who don't, because not everybody feels comfy. I'm glad you do, though.
Well, this is a trial run, actually, because I've always wanted to be cremated.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna, over the hour, feel this whole thing out, see if it's, something I want to do
The right
for a
choice.
while.
Yeah.
You
Well, the great thing is, you have a lot of time to decide.
Right?
A lot of time.
Yeah.
And
it's a good one, too. This is like, you guys didn't cheap out on the caskets. You went all out. This is
You're right.
full cushion.
This is it's kind of an odd thing to say to somebody, hey, do you want to come
line a coffin.
Do you want to come lie in a coffin with me for a while and just talk about life?
Well, it was, I mean, you didn't have to ask me twice. It was a no-brainer. Like, come lie in my coffin. I was like, all right, let's do this.
We're going to see a lot of screenshots of this because you look so good in the casket.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This could be the cover of another teen magazine.
There it is.
Maybe like Casket Beat. Or
Tiger. I was trying to find the Tiger Beat. Yeah.
Got
That's
it, right?
Casket Beat. Yeah.
Casper Beat.
This is your first interview in a casket, then?
It is definitely
for
sure. It's my first interview.
Cool.
In a
You've
casket.
done so many interviews in your career, I'm sure,
True.
but this is the first one. I'm proud to say that I get Devon Sawa's first casket interview. I hope that you're ready. This is a segment as we start off the show that we call Questions You Need to Answer Before You Die, or
Oh my God, I'm so nervous.
Quintabid for short. It just kind of rolls off the tongue. Don't be nervous. Don't be afraid.
Well,
these are only
are
like
you
the
supposed to
most
hold-
important questions you've
It
ever
feels
been
right
asked.
to hold my hands. How do you hold your hands
When I'm laying,
when you're laying? Do you do it in
so I have the benefit of having my cards, my cue cards, but when I lay them down, like let's say you're telling a story, I'm just listening to you. It depends what I'm wearing, but I'll interlace the fingers sometimes. It's always at the chest or somewhere above the sternum.
right?
Do you get really socially anxious before you throw a frisbee?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. I get so much tension.
A frisbee.
Yeah, because I can never seem to throw it right.
I know how to do it, but I don't know whether I'm going to do it right at that moment.
It's humiliating
what I
to me
mean?
how effortless it looks to people in the park. And then when I go to throw a frisbee, it never goes the way I want it to go, or if it's just...
It kind of hooks to the ground, right?
It's never come to me easily.
Crazy.
If you had to be a car, what kind of car would you be and why?
It feels like I should be an old jalopy. Is that a car or a type of?
The type, that's okay. I like it.
Like the old beater. Like that's what this moment feels like right now. Something old and
Interesting. To me, if I was making cars,
yeah.
I would absolutely cast you as like the cool Mustang.
Not the new Mustang, the older Mustangs, right?
But in good shape. Not the jalopy version of the Mustang. The
jalopy.
Devon Sawa Mustang is like stunning.
Newish.
Dave Dastmalchian hearse. What
The
happened?
frisbee thing is, that was a good start of questions.
Did you ever see a fly on an airplane? How fucking confused do you think that guy is when they land in Sydney?
I have never seen a fly in an airplane.
I've seen a lot of pets on airplanes, and I think the same thing though. Like that cat got into its carrier, in Tulsa, got on the plane. It's in Bangkok all of a sudden.
Right.
It's like, where the fuck am I? Would you rather be trapped in a room with one bear
One bear.
or 8 raccoons?
I don't feel like the raccoons would be a problem. I think they would be fun.
I agree. I think there's a problem with that question. I'm going to rephrase it. Would you rather be trapped in a room with one bear or 80 raccoons?
80 raccoons. Isn't there like something, they did a poll and like 5% of Americans think they can actually take a bear.
I don't know about that poll, but I'll tell you something that's kind of scary about, like, there was a poll of women. You're trapped in a space. Would you rather be trapped with a strange man or a bear? The majority chose the bear.
Sad.
That's sad.
But I would go with the raccoons. 80
Raccoons?
raccoons over the bear.
Okay. Where do you think the moon landing was shot?
Joe Rogan's studio, obviously.
Thank you for that.
I mean,
I agree. In the basement. Thank you. Honestly, like all of those, you and I have a lot of similarities in the way our brains work. But the reason, obviously, why you're here is to talk about things like death and dying. And I want to really, get comfortable putting your feet in the fire. What we're dying to know right now, though, before we go to more death stuff, is there anything that, like, you're working on right now, or that you will be sharing with us soon, or that you've worked on recently that really makes you feel alive?
Yes, I did a movie in New Zealand called Heart Eyes that I'm really, really excited about, and it makes me feel alive. It's a studio film, and Josh Rubin directed it, and I've seen it, and it's phenomenal, and I can't wait for people to see it, and so that makes me feel alive.
So, Devon, it is time. We're trying to finally normalize conversations about death and dying. Are you ready to talk about end-of-life celebrations, funerals, funeral planning, stuff like that?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about death.
This is my favorite segment that we're about to embark on. It's called Death Wish.
Okay.
Devon.
Yes.
How would you like to die?
I would like to go in my sleep naturally. I'd like to not know about it, if that's an option.
It is.
Option 2 would be a firing squad.
How often do you think about death and dying?
I try not to think about death because I'm not a religious person, so I kind of think of death as when you like turn the TV off. It just kind of just goes black.
Yeah.
So I try not to think about death so much.
Do you think, though, that there's something? Because to me, what you just described, like TV off, fade to black,
that's it,
lights out. That idea, that concept used to really bother me. Used to really like scare me or freak me out. But I think there's actually something kind of comforting in that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't get on board with the whole, heaven and I'm a man of science, and so I just feel like once you go, it's just it just fade to black.
It freaked me out as a kid, in fact, this concept of infinity.
So what do you think now?
If energy continues on after us, it's kind of comforting to think that, like, what life energy left my body when I died is now energy that is trees growing, or if my body is consumed by some critters, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me the way it used to. Speaking of, on this path, do you want to be buried, cremated, or eaten by wolves?
Well, I've always wanted to be cremated.
Okay.
And then I saw Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about why he wanted to be buried, and he felt there was something magical about actually being reintroduced to the earth through bugs and rotting and becoming that whole thing, and I've since then thought about it a lot and thought about maybe that is the more interesting way to go, and so I'm open to the idea of rotting in the earth and letting the bugs eat me and becoming part of nature again.
Devon, if you could haunt anyone after you die, who would it be? And why?
If I could haunt anybody, who would it be? I think there's a couple studio heads and producers I would definitely go after first. I would maybe visit my children in a good way.
Sure.
I would be a good ghost, a Casper style ghost.
Yeah. Not all ghosts have to be terrifying.
Not all ghosts have to be terrifying.
The word haunt, I think, means like you're existing around. I'm going to haunt you. I love that. If you could ask a famous dead person one question, who would that person be? What would it be?
Maybe Tupac. I'd solve the mystery.
That's a good one.
I would ask
because
him.
mine was a murder mystery question too.
Oh, who did you?
I was gonna be like Lee Harvey Oswald. Like, did you really? And I think, and we're also under the assumption that a dead person is gonna have to tell us the truth, right? Because now they've died, they moved on.
Right.
So I could ask him, but I want to know, like,
You would get to the bottom of JFK.
yeah, what? Yeah.
No, I'd go right to the tabloids and
There you go.
and
Yeah.
go after Tupac's, and
People want to know.
people want to know.
Thank you for your willingness to tackle Death Wish. I appreciate you answering all of those questions. I have a really special favor to ask of you before we bury this interview.
Sure.
I have a final thing, kind of a final destination for this Q&A session that I wanted to take us to. I'd like to ask you to please give your own eulogy. It's spelled out Y-O-U-logy. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what I am going to do is I'll say the word die. No pressure whatsoever,
All right.
Devon, okay? I don't want you to overthink it. 3, 2, 1, die.
Dearly beloved, we have gathered here today because I've died, and I just wanted to say a couple of nice things about myself. It's been a great life, done some marvelous things, had a marvelous family. Hopefully, if there's a place to cross over to, hopefully I'm crossing over to it. And if not, and I get to haunt somebody, that would be great too. I'm glad that I got to do this show before I died. That's a plus. And yeah, don't stop thinking about me.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that in the comments thread below this video, there are many people saying, "Me, haunt me, please haunt me, Devon Sawa, will you haunt me?" I'm just guessing.
All over it.
Well, our time is up. That was beautiful. You are a beautiful soul. Thank you so much for sharing it with us and me today. Okay. Bye.
Do I just stay here? Hello? Hello? Guys? All right. Well,